What is going on, guys? We're back with another RDT fishing report for Lake Chickamauga. Today is September the 19th, and a pretty important day happened this week. It was the first morning that I got to throw on a hoodie and go fishing. We are having some cooler weather this week, and it has been great. The fishing has not been so great, however. No, it was fine. The water has started to cool down a little bit, and they're still dropping the lake, and the bite did get a little bit tougher this week. Kind of like last week, there was a lot of guys singing the blues. A lot of the fish have moved around a little bit. The schooling activity has definitely slowed down in the mats, but they're still there. They just got a little bit tougher to catch this week. Had to kind of move around and fish some different areas that I have been catching them in. But I was still able to get bites and still get some quality. Overall, the tournament weights have been down this week. There was an ABA, 2-day ABA championship down out of Chester Frost, and I think 15 pounds was leading the first day. And then I think it ended up only taking like 27 total to win for 2 days with 5 fish. So that is pretty low, which is pretty typical for Lake Chickamauga. Right at the start of the fall, it always gets pretty tough before it gets good. You can attribute that to the drop in water or whatever you want to, but it always gets like that. The best way I found to get bit was to cover water. You can try to kind of pattern something together with bait and the type of grass that this fish were relating to that day. But the best thing was just to cover water. If you weren't seeing any bait, weren't seeing any activity, kick that trolling motor on high and cover some more water. And once you started to see some activity, that seemed like the areas that you were going to get bit. Still fishing grass, it seemed like the best way to get bit was to fish the main river stuff. For whatever reason, the stuff back in the creeks just has not been great so far. I think it's still a little early for that. A lot of the grass is behind and not growing in some places, and it's kind of got the fish kind of just really relating to the bars and the grass up on top of the bars and just off the main channel. The bait that I selected to cover water with, like I was saying a second ago, was a topwater. I'm just making long casts and covering water with it. That seemed like the best way to get bites. You can do this with a swim jig or a swim bait or something like that, but a topwater was my go-to this week. A lot of guys don't like throwing a topwater and covering water with it because it's just kind of monotonous, chucking it out there and for for a while. But if you can lock it in your hand, it seemed like that was the best way to get bites. Like I said, with those cooler mornings, that morning bite and evening bite have been especially good. These fish love that cooler weather because it gets them moving and gets that bait going. Specifically, the bait that I threw mostly this week was the Yozuri Pencil 125. On a clear morning with bluebird skies, I like that chrome clear kind of chromy color with some flash. And then on those overcast days, I reached for that bone color or something kind of off-white, something that would look better, break up better on the surface on those overcast days. Another great option is an I'm a Little Stick or a Evergreen SB 105 or a 125. That's a spit walking bait, so it has a little bit more commotion on top of the water. That is a great option as well. Caught fish on both of those baits this week. Water temps have started to cool down a little bit with those cooler evenings and cooler mornings, but it's still right there around 80s or so, give or take, wherever you are, and whether you're out in the current and moving water or back in a creek. So thank you guys for tuning in and watching. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot us a message on our social media platforms or swing by the shop and say hey and talk about fishing for a little bit. And if there's anything we're leaving out of these fishing reports, anything that you would like to have some more detail of or know more about the lake, feel feel free to comment on this video and let me know what you guys want to know more about, and I would be more than happy to include that in some videos in the future. We're just starting to get going with these fishing report videos, and I'd love to learn along with you guys. So feel free to reach out to us, and thanks again for tuning in. Thanks.